I don't think so too.
Alright, well, let's go ahead and start it. Alright, hey guys, what's up? Welcome to ETSK Tutorials, and this is the first episode of, I guess this is going to be a series that I'm going to call DevTalk, or something along those lines, and we have a guest with us today. As you can see over there on that side of the screen, we got Martin, and I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Martin Edmair, I don't know,
So,
but
say
Martin's
Martin,
with us
please,
today.
please, don't do it.
Alright. So we got Martin with us today, and he is a mobile game developer, and you mostly work with HTML5. Um,
Yeah, now I work almost with HTML5.
okay, and he has. What are you on? Like you're working on like game number 4 now, or something like that. 3.
I think this is game number 6 or so,
Oh
but
yeah.
some got not released.
Dang. But yeah. So the game that we have in the background, right up there, is Turmoil Deluxe, and that is a pre-recorded video. So in case you guys are wondering why I'm able to talk and play at the same time and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's for Android and iOS. And you said that you're working on a PC version right now?
No, the PC version is done. I worked on a PC version, Mac version, and Linux version.
Oh,
It's
okay.
all done.
Did you get those up on like Google Play or anything like that yet?
I just get the Android version and the US version up on the App Store, the US version, on Google Play, on Samsung App Store, yeah, on Amazon App Store, I think it's called. Yeah,
Oh,
I think that was it.
so those sound pretty easily accessible then. So we'll put well, actually, I'm trying to think about for the live viewers. I mean, definitely in the in the YouTube video, we'll be putting the links to the descriptions to everywhere to go to get Martin's games and to because you have light versions of a lot of your games, don't you too?
Yeah, not of all, not of Turmoil Deluxe. I have no light version yet, but they will coming in the App Store. It's
Okay.
just only paid.
All right. Oh, it looks like we got the first question for Martin. And hey, Martin, what country are you from?
I think I answered it. Vienna, Austria.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think we were waiting for the live stream to start when you answer that question, but that's cool. All right. Well, let's start with a couple of my first questions. And well, I guess my first question is, how long have you been developing games?
I think I began with 11 years. I began developing some small games like Moorhuhn. I think you know it. It's like a 2D shooter. It was one of the first PC games. Really
What?
successful with chicken, with a
Uh,
flying chicken.
what was the game that you said again? It's like what?
A Moorhuhn.
Mar.
It's Moorhuhn called.
I don't think
I
I've
know
heard of
it's not
that.
an English word, but it was really successful from your wood.
Oh, okay. So 11 years. So, you've done 6 games in 11 years then? Or have you done more
Yeah,
than that?
I quit. You know, I did some other stuff. I developed some small games with Pascal and Delphi in the past, and then tried some Toku and other engines, 3D engines, and then quit some years, and now I'm back.
Okay. So for your first couple games, did you try making them paid games, or were you just like doing it as a hobby back then?
It was a hobby. It was all free, and I gave also the source code away, and yeah.
Oh, okay. So at what point did you like take a look at your games and say, "Hey, I could sell these"?
This was like, I think really it was like maybe let's say 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I began thinking about it.
So is that when you started learning like the business side of it more, or?
Now I just, I had a job and then I didn't like my job so much, and I thought, okay, now I need to found a business, and yeah, it started a year ago.
Oh wow. So you did so you did have a transition period where you did where you were just doing it like after work and then eventually switched to full time.
It was a lot, about 6 months, I think.
Oh, it only
I
took you
began
it only took you six
developing.
months to establish it enough to switch to it full time?
Yeah, I wanted that, you know.
Yeah.
I would start it before that, but yeah, there was other stuff to do like school and some jobs. Yeah,
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's take a look at the chat because I know that we're going over some of these. But somebody asked, "Do you develop on a Mac?" Uh, I want to make an iOS game, yet Mac is not reachable for me right now.
I think there's a website called, if I think Web Cloud is it. You can also build your iOS game. It's like renting this the Mac complete.
Really? Like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
virtual Mac?
yeah, something like that.
Huh.
I think it's called Mac Cloud. I'm not sure.
That sounds useful. So you might want to check that out. Real Entropy Mac Cloud.
I think it's something called like that. But it's easier when you start with Android because it's cheaper.
Oh, okay. Yeah, do you need the because I know with Apple, it's like you have like a yearly payment that you got to pay to keep your Apple developer license or something. Do you have the same thing on
Yeah,
Android?
yeah, no, but it's only once. I think it's $25.
Oh, wow. That's way cheaper. Yeah, it sounds like Android is a lot nicer to get into. Um,
But you don't need that. You can release your games on Samsung App Store or on Amazon. It's not free. On Samsung App Store there are also other stores that are free. You don't need a license.
hmm. And to get onto the Android, because Android can accept multiple stores unlike iOS.
Yeah, it's open source. You know, you don't need the license for the Android developer. You just can go to Samsung App Store and yeah, without paying, you can release your game.
That sounds a lot less investment. But
Yeah,
do you think it's is it worth it to go to like the Android, like the official Android store and stuff like that to try to get more traffic?
no, it's not worth it.
Oh no.
When you start, it's not worth it because you get not enough downloads.
Hmm.
It's pretty difficult there. It's easier on the App Store. Yeah, when you don't have access to a Mac, it's maybe difficult. But I would say first start, if you really take it serious, first start with the App Store, and there you can make money
Okay.
easier.
All right. Let's see. What was my next question? Well, I guess let's talk about what got you into making games. And well, I guess you said that it first started off as a hobby for quite a few years.
Yeah.
Did you teach yourself everything that you know, or did you go to school for programming or anything?
Back in the days, you bought some books like for C or Pascal, and you just learn it. But I went to school for programming, but yeah,
Oh, okay. So was that
I
like
was not good enough for the whole school. I quit until 1 year because the other like the languages and other stuff got me in trouble.
hmm.
Programming was not really a problem, you know. I started with Turbo C and then got quick to C++ and then Pascal and Delphi.
Dang, that's a lot of different languages.
Yeah, I need to find the right one. Yeah,
I'm just checking to
it's
see if
it's
I'm missing any questions. But sorry, what was that?
yeah, it's better to start with an easy language like. But nowadays there are better language out. Like you can start with Luna, and this is pretty easy. This is
Oh,
like a scripting language,
oh, okay. What
and it's really easy to code with.
Like, can you, I guess I'm not really familiar with Luna. Is that, do you have to use that with any specific engine, or is that like an open language?
It's a bit like an open language. Corona SDK uses this. This is the first engine SDK, I would call it. I used for my first game, Blitz Jump. I
Okay.
developed it with Luna. It's pretty easy. Not like you can, with the documentation and some a bit of learning. When you understand the basics of programming, you can make almost everything.
Okay. So like with let's stick to that particular language. How much work do you do like outside of the code, or is it like all in code?
Mm, it's all outside of code. How you mean that?
I mean like, is there any work that you got to do that's outside of the code, or like any like I guess I'm thinking of Unity, because like with Unity you have like a lot of editing. Like mostly it's code, but like there's a lot of editing that you can do that doesn't
In the
have anything to do with code.
in the editor, you mean? No, it's with Corona, with Luna, it's most stuff in the code, and yeah, you have then a simulator, and you can then see also test the game like on a real device,
Okay.
and you can select like iPhone, a Nexus, other phones too. You can see also it also scales automatic with letterbox to the
Okay.
right device.
Um, I guess that leads me into another question that I had was, what do you think about programming for different devices? Have you ever had like a problem with that, like going from iOS to Android and just different screen resolutions and different processing powers? Is it something that you've had to worry about?
Yeah, on Android you have to worry about cheap devices. It can happen that your games don't work on some old devices and then you get bad reviews or yeah, just people don't can play it. They just ask if they want to test it out and can't play it. It's bad, really bad.
Oh yeah. Uh, do you have any techniques that you use to prevent that? Like, do you do any sort of alpha testing?
I have some testing devices, but normally I think about the devices I want to play my game later, or the people that can play my game, like a target uh, 100 versions, the
Okay.
high 100 versions to get the most performance for my games.
Okay. Do you ever do like alpha, like online alpha testing before you release your game? Because I know I've seen oh, what was it, like Cloud Play or something like that? I saw this one like cloud playing service for
Hmm.
testing that somebody said was good for testing games.
I know some people, I send them my games and they test it. But normally I make a beta on Android. I release it. It's got like in 50 minutes. It's uploaded, and then it depends on the game. I get like 200 people playing it or less. On the card game, I got through months like 900 people played it.
Dang. Um, yeah, and I guess since you also have light versions of a lot of your games, that's another good
Yeah.
way of testing and letting people test for their own particular device.
Yes, Android. Most people don't want to buy the games. It's pretty difficult to get sell a unit or sell one or make a buck.
Yeah. Here's a question coming from the chat is,
Yeah.
what are your PC specs?
Cool. I have a really old PC. My PC is like an old laptop, like 2 years old.
Oh,
I
wow.
think 2 gig or so, and 4 gig RAM, and a poor graphic card.
Well, I
It's
guess
you
when you're
know
developing mobile games, you don't have to worry too much.
that's why I picked it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember when I was making Galaxia interface like 2 years ago, I was using well, now the computer is like a piece of crap. I mean, when I first got it, I thought it was awesome, but now I'm like this. Yeah, and like so I made that work for the longest time. But yeah, that is a great thing about developing mobile games is any computer is more powerful than any phone, pretty much.
Yeah. Nice. I just bought a cheap laptop, and this was years ago, and then it finally lives, but lol, almost killed it. And I can use it for development also.
Here's a good question coming from the real entropy. Why did you choose mobile? Why did you choose mobile over console or PC? It seems like a more limiting factor to mobile dev.
Mm. Also, I choose it. Also, most of the important points for me was because it was really cheap. Because yeah, when you start a business, you maybe have not so much money.
Mm-hmm.
This
Yeah,
was the it was easier to gain also the knowledge for all everything.
yeah. I mean, I assume that the controls in most cases are actually probably simpler. If like, I mean, because I've played two of your games and both of them were always like one touch at a time kind of controls.
Yeah,
So it seems like that would be easier to keep track of, and like you're really more concentrating on like the art of just simplifying everything and creating like a
it's just easier to make games. Uh, I would make a PC game if I had the money,
yeah.
or console game, but it's difficult to get in to make a really good console game, and you need a lot of money and
Mm-hmm.
a good idea.
Yeah.
It just was simpler for me.
Yeah. And like and even more than just money, like time. Like I mean, you can even take time and put it into the same category as money, really, because like when you're talking about game development, most people talk about like, oh, this was expensive to make, and what they were really saying was that this took a lot of time to make.
Yeah, usually a game for me takes about, I think, 3 months or so, or four,
Okay.
or less.
That's actually a really quick turnaround time for a game.
Yes, in 2 years you need a lot of money to cover all your costs,
Yeah.
and then maybe it fails.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
especially
a bit-
because you're a family guy too. It seems like that's got to put a lot of stress on the situation and really make you really want to crank out those games. And how's that been having to take care of your family while also making games?
I, my family supported me always.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's difficult. You have not the income you had before, maybe in the
Yeah.
beginning, and then yeah, it's really difficult. It would be easier to work for a big game company for me than to
Yeah.
make my own games and make a living.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe you'll get picked up by someone. I know there's a lot of. It seems like, especially with mobile games, it seems even more prevalent than console and PC games. But there seems to be a lot more like companies that kind of like won't necessarily build like one. Like they'll get a team together to build lots of different games all at once. Like they'll multitask their games a lot and like expand their team much more than PC and mobile games. I mean, PC and console games
Oh,
typically do.
yeah, it's also easier to find people that want to work with you, and it's also the money is always a point when you
Mm-hmm.
make games. I try to make my games more for me a bit sometimes.
Yeah.
Then maybe they sell less, but I want to make what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes not what consumers want. Maybe it's difficult in this market because most of the companies only make games like, yeah, they will sell like successful copies of other games.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I've seen so many copies of like Angry Birds and Plants vs Zombies.
Yeah,
Um,
It's
Yeah.
it's it's also difficult when you make a game like that. Yeah, now everybody tells you, yeah, you cloned the game, you copied the game. What else? Yeah, maybe you made a good game, you made it little bit like the other game, and then you got screwed. This
Yeah.
happened to me with Blitz Jump. I made a bit like a dual jump game, but really a bit different. Yeah, and everybody hated it
Oh yeah.
at the beginning. Yeah.
Oh, that stinks. Yeah, I guess that's a real difficult point. Like, where's the cutoff point between cloning a game and just taking inspiration from that game and just being like, hey, I want to make a game in that genre, and then like, because there's like one really successful game in that genre, everyone thinks that you're copying them. Like, no,
Yeah,
it's just the genre, not the.
the problem is that like Angry Birds, like someone wrote it in the chat. It's like Angry Birds. Angry Birds can make what they want. They copied a deer or other game, yeah, and it got successful. And now,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, Angry Birds wasn't the first game to do what they did, was it?
yeah, yeah. Don't know how that game was called, but there was a game, yeah, before in something with tower, I think. But it's really weird, like when you're successful, you can do what you want. But when you're a small developer and you make a similar idea, everybody says, "Oh, he cloned it. I
Mm-hmm.
cannot review it. I cannot write about it."
Yeah. It's probably also the fact that Doodle Jump was really successful. Was probably also what made people get mad. They probably just assumed that you're trying to bandwagon Doodle Jump by.
But the game is really different. It's like you have a slot machine for power ups and other stuff. It's not
Okay.
really. It's only the jumping. The main game mechanics are a bit similar.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I had to have played a game. There had to have been games before Doodle Jump that were just like that, or just, that genre, really. I mean, I don't know if you can call it a genre, but like
Yeah,
that, like, game type.
it's difficult. They expect every time, like you make. I think also a successful game is called Mega Jump,
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah, they want they think when they start your game, they want the same thing
Hmm.
or better. It's difficult.
So you're getting a mix of people saying, like, no, don't make anything like it, and then people saying, no, make it exactly like it. And, like, you can't please anybody.
Yeah, and when you ask other people and you show them your game, it was with my first game. They all, oh, it's great. It will sell. You will be successful. You will be a millionaire. Yeah, really?
Yeah.
And then when you maybe fail, yeah, then they tell you, oh yeah, I knew it.
Yeah.
It had a terrible background.
Yeah, because I remember when I was making my game Glaxa Interface, I was, like, towards the end of it, I was starting to, because I spent a lot of time on that game, because I also used that time to learn Unity. So in the end, it really took me about 15 months to make that game. So that's
Wow.
much longer than your 3 or 4 month time. That's a much more affordable amount of time. But what happened with me was that, like, towards the end of that, like, 15 months, I was kind of like, I like really started to figure out the flaws in my game, and it was like too late to turn back because I had done so much work. Um, so yeah, I kind of went into, or towards the end of it, I was really starting to think like, I'll be lucky if I make my money back, and I didn't even do that. So it was a good learning experience though. So I gotta look at it that way.
Yeah, it's really difficult. I made this with a bit the same thing happened to me with Blitz Jump. I got the art ready, I got all ready, yeah, and then I didn't like it.
Oh yeah,
And I need to remake the art and some game mechanics and this again and again and testing and I don't get a bug with the retreat button. Yeah,
dang.
the game freezed.
Oh man, sounds like a headache. Let's see. Just gonna. All right,
See,
we're good on time. Um, so what is it like working with freelance artists? Because I know you've told me before. I guess I forgot. I should probably inform the audience. That Martin works with a lot of just artists from the internet, I guess.
Yeah, I just began. I wrote some big artists in the first place. Yeah, and they want, and then I looked and looked and found some small people working with them. Yeah, it depends on the artist. Artists are not programmer.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, they usually it's difficult to deal with them sometimes. You got an idea how it should look like in your game, and yeah, they got a different idea,
Hmm.
and then you need to find the middle maybe.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe you know that when we work with some artists, with my new artists, it's a bit easier. I let him more control of the art, and I give him some direction, and you just do it.
Hmm. So do you think,
Because it, yeah.
or what part is more difficult working with artists, like the technical side or just the visual, getting like just completing that vision side and getting the visual that you want?
uh, the visual side always, and
Yeah.
also yeah, and the different artists. Some artists maybe they write you back 3 days later, yeah, or some artists they contact you quicker. This all depends, and then yeah, it's difficult to work with them when they take around 3 days to answer you or to send you a new art. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Because they're not working for you alone.
Do you utilize a lot of placeholder art while you're waiting for those kind of things to go through?
With the first game, I did it, but now I don't. Most of the time, I let some art made and then start the game developing.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. I should probably look over. People are saying something about making a Counter Strike clone. Call it Critical Strike. Um.
There was a question. I answered it, I think.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. To anybody wondering in the chat, Godman GM is Martin. So yeah, I wasn't looking at chat. I didn't realize that you were multitasking and telling people. But
I'm trying. I'm trying to.
okay. All right. But it looks like you are starting to answer Nortis42's question. But how do you pay them, or do you guys share the project? I
Yeah,
guess.
I pay him in an hour rate, but it depends on the artist. Some artists, I know one from Indonesia. It depends on the size of the art. Like, the higher the size, the expensiver it gets.
The
It can begin
image
at,
resolution.
yeah, like, yeah,
Oh, I never heard of anybody charging by the image resolution.
yeah, yeah, really. Like, it begins like $2, $3, and then it starts higher.
Should make a pixel style game with that artist and just get him for real cheap.
No,
Make an
I
8-bit
thought
game.
it's cheap, but he always gets me. Gets then expensive. Um,
But so how do you like come up with those prices? Do you like when you find the artist online, do you just negotiate and uh go back and forth and try to negotiate a price from there? Or?
I'm normally send him assessed list with all the sizes and art should be in. Normally I miss some stuff, and then yeah, then he sends me how much he wants, and
Okay.
then we agree on a price.
Okay. And then if it's too expensive, you look for somebody else?
I have the two artists I'm working with normally, but now I'm working only with one from the UK. Yeah, no, I don't do that. Normally I find an agreement.
Okay.
It's we find a way to deal with it. It's not that expensive. I wrote one artist. It's a pixel artist. He wanted 10K to start.
Wow.
This was an offer. Yeah, I couldn't
Did he have like a
do.
really good portfolio or something?
Yeah, he's one of the best, I think,
Okay,
best
yeah.
pixel artists.
Yeah, with a
But
price
I
like
could not
that,
hire with 10K man for
yeah, he
just for
better be a
small game.
veteran pixel artist.
It's difficult when you. I always write them or Skype with them. Yeah, and every artist has some can draw really good and some can animate really good.
Oh, okay.
Depends.
You just gotta find the people with the talent that you're looking for. Um, so in Turmoil Deluxe, you got a lot of moving things in the background. Was that made by you or the artist?
The artist.
Okay, so he actually figured out how everything's gonna move.
He he made also I had the art ready. It looked a bit different, and he spiced it up, and then he redraw everything.
Nice.
I wanted a animated background, but yeah.
That's cool. Cause yeah, I know you mentioned before we started the live stream, you mentioned that the artist that you worked with on Turmoil Deluxe, you said that he was also a programmer, and
Yeah.
you guys worked on some programming together.
Now we agree now most of the time on both. Yeah, he makes some art and makes some programming and developing. It works so good with us together,
Okay.
and I go more now into game design concept. I mean, I know how to code and how to test, and then I can check that also every time I want that, or can change it a bit if I want to.
That's good.
Because it was too difficult to make everything on my own every time. This was so stressful.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? When you work alone on everything, I develop the game, then write emails, make videos, make other stuff, and send to press emails
Yeah.
and make tweets. And it's a lot of work for one person.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is a lot of work for one person to create an entire game. Um, so like at what point do you so you're always gonna keep like your relationship let's see, um like a hourly rate, like freelance sort of thing, or like at what point do you team up, and like when would that be a good business strategy to team up and actually like bring in
When you
somebody
know
and wait, sorry, what?
when you know the person really well.
When you just
This
like
is you make some games or you paid him, yeah, and you made great work, and the understanding is good.
so you think that's a good way of forming a team, is to start with just hiring people freelance, and then if you work
Yeah,
really well with them, and then just officially bring them on?
yeah. For me, it worked out. It depends on the artist or on the developer. It's difficult. Man, I would hire if I could afford it. In the first place, I would hire an artist or a developer also full time. It makes sense, when I work good with him together.
Yeah.
Because working alone, it's really difficult. It's also difficult to work in teams sometimes. It really depends on the person.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it really depends on the person.
So let's see. Going to somebody told me to scroll up.
You should hire me. Stands in the chat.
This looks like a pretty interesting question. Have you considered just making a dumbed down game that would be really popular to satisfy financial needs? That is a pretty good question. Like, will you like I feel like I definitely got this with a Glaxia interface, and I bet you a lot of other developers get this too. Like, oh, you mentioned earlier about like the game you wanted to make versus what people wanted to play, and it's like
Yeah.
I think a lot of game developers are typically like hardcore gamers. Like we play a lot of games, and like that's what got us into wanting to make games, was that we played a lot of games. So um, like, I guess, like, where was I going with that question? Like,
I think it's difficult, man. It's difficult for me. It's difficult to make a game really only to be financially successful.
yeah,
Yeah,
like,
because this is not really fun.
yeah, because like what'll sell is like you said, pretty dumbed down. Like Angry Birds. I guess we might as well use that as an example. That's not the most intelligent game. I mean, well, I guess the original Angry Birds was pretty decent, but I think apparently like I haven't played Mad Piggies, but I've heard that Mad Piggies is really, really dumbed down. Actually, wait, no, I did play Mad Piggies. Like, I played like one level of it, and it seems like there's not really any way to lose.
Now, I should play these games, but I'm not a big Angry Birds fan. My
Yeah,
my son loves it.
yeah. I remember I played it. Well, when it was first getting big, I did like it. Like, I liked that game, but like I didn't like it enough to think, yes, this deserves this much attention.
Uh,
But
no, they deserve to be successful. They got at the right time, the right game, and made millions.
yeah,
Or billions, or whatever.
yeah, really.
And now they can make a game that's about, shit.
Uh-huh.
And
They can make
it will
whatever they
sell.
want.
Yeah, it's like they can make what they bought this crazy machine idea. I think it was a similar game to create. Do you know Crazy Machine from
Yeah.
the PC? This was like this tool building um, game. Yeah, and they bought some ideas from them and made a game. Yeah, but this time it was not that successful.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
have that much money, it's easy.
So I wonder what kind of elements do you need to get into a game to like give it that like appeal to somebody who's not really a hardcore gamer, because I'm guessing that's like the biggest audience when it comes to mobile games, because everybody has a phone, and nowadays pretty much everybody has a smartphone, or at least anybody who bought a phone recently typically has a smartphone. So you're going to get a lot of people, with these devices that are, some of them are looking for games but aren't necessarily hardcore gamers. Like, how do you appeal to people like that? You
I
really
think
gotta.
I think now it's really difficult. But there are some different categories like kid games you can make. That's a lot of easier. I mean, it gets also difficult too, but it's easier to make money
Oh yeah.
when you make like a kids games and the parents bought it, and you make a free version with ads. Yeah, I got a friend. He made in the beginning normal games. One normal game. It was like jump and run, and this wasn't really that successful. And then he made, I think it's five kid games, and then he made the jump and run for free. He got 500,000 downloads,
Dang.
and then he made a lot of money. They bought also or downloaded the kid games, yeah, and they made a lot of money with only the ads,
Wow.
like 5K in 2 weeks and
Dang.
more.
Yeah, I guess that would make a lot of sense, putting ads in kids games, because I know that um, I've seen like I'm gonna use my mom as an example, but she was using her iPad from work, because she's a speech therapist and works with a lot of little kids. So she was like looking for games for the kids for at her work, and she doesn't pay a penny on them. So that really makes. I bet you a lot of people do that. Probably just download like 10 of them. Be like, okay, I like this one, this one, this one. Like, this will keep my kid entertained in the car seat while we're driving to grandma and grandpa's house. Like, I don't need to spend money on that.
You can also make a lot of money then with in-app purchase. Like you buy stuff, you can unlock stuff with
Oh yeah.
money. You release it like free, the kids game,
Oh yeah.
and then
Especially if you try to make the menu confusing so the kids accidentally buy things.
the parents will buy it. Like when they like the first, let's say it's like a beta or a demo version of the game, and you get like free levels or free colors or whatever is in this game, and then you can unlock the rest 10 or whatever for $1 or more.
Yeah.
You can make a lot of money with that.
Because can't you make your in-app purchases, like, because I know with pretty much every store, you have to make like they have like tier prices of like $1, $2, $3, and then whatever your regional equivalency is. With in-app purchases, can't you do more variable amounts?
Yeah, you can different amounts. I didn't do it yet, because for the HTML5 games it was not supported
Oh, okay.
with my experiment by Warper, but I will test it soon.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just it seems like that would be a good business model, but that's added programming, or just another thing that you got to make work and make sure is working.
The problem is, um, with some engine SDKs, whatever you use, when you use ads, that they are working good. This is not that easy. I
Yeah.
had a lot of trouble in the last year with some ads
Hmm.
to get it working right.
Yeah, that sounds like another confusing thing, and then also like what you gotta like make the decision like if the person can still play their game when they're not connected to a network or anything like that.
Yeah, it depends on how the ad is designed. Some of the better ads, like they hide when you have no connection.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's also there are different type of ads. Like the most money you get with full screen ads. And then are banners and app walls and other stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it really depends on that.
I think from all the games that I've played, like the full screen ads are the ones that I like the best because they like are before you play like whereas like the banner ads like at the bottom of the screen. I really hate
Yeah.
those because like during the gameplay, because then it slows your game down a bunch and like you can accidentally click on it. So that actually
Yeah.
works out that the full screen ones are the nicer ones, and they also bring in more revenue.
Yeah, they are also like the drive installs. Yeah, you need to click on them, and then you download the other free game, and then for every install like that, you get money.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty nice system, and it seems like just with games, like when you make them free, it seems like more than any other media that I've seen and definitely worked with, um, like let's say like a free game versus like a free video, like any free game is going to get like a lot more traffic and a lot more people because I think it has like this like monetary value to people, whereas like people are now conditioned nowadays to expect videos for free, so it's a lot harder to try to like charge people for videos or anything like that. I don't know where I was going with that.
Uh, I
I
think
guess I was,
with games it's difficult. Everybody wants for a dollar, $50 games. A game, $50 game. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's
yeah.
like they want so much for so less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I guess ads are one good way of catering to those people nowadays.
Yeah, it depends on the game type. I think
Yeah.
this solution with coins or in-app purchases are always good.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that easy to. You need to design the game around it. When you have coins or a currency in the game, you can buy clothes, weapons, unlock levels, etc.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that you got to be thinking about from the very beginning. You can't like change
Yeah,
that halfway through.
I don't like these games, why? Because it's like for me, it's like when you buy them or you download them, you get not the full experience. You need
Yeah.
always to pay.
All right. Let's
I
talk
think
about
so.
how I believe in your game you have just two languages
Yeah.
in Turmoil Deluxe. I guess let's talk about like different countries and different languages and what that is like in mobile gaming and mobile game development.
Yeah, so it depends. It depends really on the country, you know. So some like different type or genres of games, and then when you make like want to sell a game in China or Japan, it also the right art for that game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
This, also the game type and how the game works. I tried to get my games to China Mobile in the past, the older ones, and it failed
hmm.
because they expect something different, you know. I didn't figure out yet exactly how I should redesign it or develop it, but they have a different, they look different at games,
Hmm. That's
I would say.
interesting. Because I knew definitely that choosing like what languages to make available in your game had like a huge impact because of just numbers and like the population of any particular country. And I mean, it really comes down to just being able to read what is on the screen, um, or at least that's what I thought. I never really thought about like different countries liking different genres and art styles.
Yeah.
I guess.
Now, if the first step is the translated description. Then you
Mm,
got a foot in the door.
yeah. Well, I guess
And then
that's not too
simple.
hard. You just find somebody on the internet like, hey, does anybody speak English and Chinese? That's, and then I guess if you can't find that, you always got Google Translate. But you said that you got bad feedback when you did that.
Yeah, it's you need to hire someone
Yeah. I
or
wonder
you
if
know
you
someone with different languages that is spoken or
I wonder if you would get bad feedback from like Japan, because I know that Japan's pretty famous for like I've heard like anytime that I've heard anybody talk about like traveling to Japan, they always say how there's like signs and stuff are so poorly translated to English and other languages. Like you'll just like see like street signs and like store signs that just make absolutely no sense, and we're like obviously just like Google translated or whatever the equivalent is that they use in Japan.
no, I had that with the China Mobile, you know. They write me reports then or send me email in Chinese
Oh yeah.
and
And
something like that, and I had to ask a friend, and he called them also, yeah, but he couldn't find out why they don't want my games on.
huh.
Just they said, okay, they don't like this game is boring, you know, and something stuff like that. I told them, yeah, okay, it's boring, yeah, this is.
A lot of work to go through to get a message like that.
Maybe they thought it would not sell, I don't know. Okay, I think there was a question, you know, how to advertise your games or which websites you can use, which people you should
Hmm.
contact to help you with advertising your game.
Oh, okay. Are we talking about putting ads in your game or advertising your game?
I, th- I think advertising your game on a website is mean.
Okay. What
Yeah.
experiences have you had with that?
I did that one time, but I don't know the site yet. Yeah, it's good. It depends really on the price. But when you do it, you pick like big sites like Touch Arcade or yeah,
Hmm.
big site. They got a lot of traffic.
Yeah. So you got to find like that balance between like a company that's not so big that you'll get washed under like all the other ads like I imagine you probably don't want to do your ads like with Google, or maybe you do. I don't know. I don't have any experience in that. But
I
that would
didn't test that out yet.
yeah. But it sounds like it would make sense to try to like get like a more of a niche company to try to get your ads with? So they're a little
I
bit more
would I
focused.
would make advertising different with treats in forums like Touchicade, and you give them like promo codes, or you show them screenshots and other stuff,
Oh,
and then
okay.
people can download your game for free and review and can tell other people.
Okay.
For me, that works out better.
So you pretty much left it up to them to do the writing and stuff like that. And,
No, I just give away some promotion codes and ask them then for feedback.
oh, okay. Do you have a limit on the number of promotion codes that you get on Android, or is that depending on like which particular
Now
store you go through?
on Android, there are no promotion codes. It's only in the App Store, and I think you get around 100. I'm not sure. Maybe they changed it from
Okay.
last year, But yeah, I think 50 or 100, something like that.
Okay.
For every update. When you update the game, you get again new promotion codes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that sounds similar to my experience when I did my iPhone game.
Yeah, but it's the the bad thing is they cannot give you reviews. They cannot write your reviews or rate your game with stars.
Hmm. Like on their website or just? Oh, you mean
Just in the
in the
App Store.
store?
That's bad, because they played it and maybe they like it or don't like it, and they can give a star or a review or whatever else, and that would help you.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I guess it'd be better for them to write a review on like toucharcade.com than a review on the store, I'm guessing.
As, uh, you get not so much bad reviews, it's less,
Oh yeah.
real less. For me, it was really not that much. Sometimes you get like, I don't understand the game. The art is terrible. I hate the sound.
Yeah.
How can I disable the sound?
People get really critical when it's like just on the internet, and I feel like a lot of people who like write those reviews typically like really forget that like, hey, like one person's or like one or two people spent a lot of time working on this, and they just like I feel like they feel like they're like criticizing this like imaginary being or something like that.
Yeah, you need to take it. It's good on the Samsung App Store. You can reply them
Hmm.
and thank you them or ask them more questions if they got problems. Then it's like a discussion about the game.
Yeah, that would be useful.
That helps you and helps you also maybe to satisfy the customer.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Your level code system was really interesting. We should talk about that on the live stream. Because Turmoil Deluxe actually has a old-fashioned retro system where you actually have to write down the code. After you die, it'll give you a code, and then you write down that code so that you can go back into the level later. And I thought it was pretty interesting how Martin explained to me briefly how he actually coded the code to be generated and then read back.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Mega Man. That's actually what
Yeah,
I was thinking when I first
I
saw
had the
that.
problem with saving. I couldn't save into a text file.
So you just had to come up with an alternative solution.
Yeah, this is why this solution. I could not save. I wanted to share these level codes with Twitter or Facebook or someone else, but I couldn't save it
Hmm.
yet. That's why I found it will be in the next game also maybe. We
Yeah.
will see. Now I got it.
Well, I mean, even though it was when in reality it was a result of just not being able to do something, just being limited by your software. I actually like it as a game design feature. I think it really works with this game, and like, um, I think it's like just like a fun like retro, like novelty almost, like just like I don't know. I feel like it just gives much more of a feeling of retroness.
The problem is you get also restrictions when you write into folders
Yeah.
on the iPhone or iPad or what else, yeah. And then you need to think about this and test it also. And yeah,
Yeah.
this can get a mess, because maybe you want to load a file, but you don't have the file and something like that.
Yeah. Because I remember we were talking about um also how basically the system you convert numbers and letters almost into binary.
Yeah,
Because I noticed like in the level editor, like if you drag and drop, like I remember if you drag and drop in the level editor like one character and then like one more character, like just like the first letter will change, and then like the first letter changed again from like L to like K or something. So I figured there was like some sort of equation going on in the background
yeah.
just to.
One or two letters is most of the time the position, yeah, and then one is the enemy type or the ship type.
Okay, so are like the different lanes different letters?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
cause,
complex, because yeah, I calculated it in Excel again and again how it works,
yeah,
and
because you have
we
a
finally got it.
you have a lot of information that you're squeezing into, what is that, a 6-digit code?
Yeah, we wanted it lower also. It was impossible.
Yeah.
We need to figure out a system. It was really complex, because yeah, we wanted a small code, maybe later in an update to share it, that other people can play your level, and yeah, more also that you can create more ships and so on.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess that's like another useful feature is that like I feel like in this game like cheating is fun. like like giving your codes to your friends and stuff like that. Like, oh, I skipped to level 27.
Yeah, but it's also difficult to get to this level,
Yeah.
or then maybe to complete it.
Is there any limits, or does the game end at any point actually, or does it just keep going?
No, it's 10 levels easy, then 10 levels medium, and 10 levels hard.
Oh, okay, so it's a 30 level game.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, because I never made it past level like 12 or something, so
yeah, but you got another code.
yeah.
Maybe you can test it out. Yeah,
Yeah, actually, oh, I just realized that we've been streaming for an hour. Yeah, why don't we use that as a way to end the live stream? Actually, before we started live streaming, Martin sent me some level code, so why don't I set this up and I will. Let's see, I just gotta get XSplit. Whoops, wrong file. Just gotta find it. Okay. Yep, I'll get that out of there, and then if I go. I should have had this set up beforehand.
yeah, maybe, but you know.
Okay.
But I will work maybe at that you can put the code also in with the keyboard. I'm thinking about it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's maybe easier.
that'd be nice for the PC version. Alright.
Oh, sure.
Or yeah, I guess I'll turn the music and sound off. Otherwise, it'll be probably hard to hear us. But let's see. Why don't I just go to. Okay, now I am playing in real time. So let's see. Yep. Alright. So let's enter the level code. And I guess I'll start on level 18.
Yeah, let's start.
So I gotta go all the way to Z. So this definitely makes sense on a Android device.
Yeah, this was that's why it's designed like that.
It's a lot of
Maybe I
clicking.
should change the level code then someday.
What kind of save system are you gonna have in your new Archer game? Are you gonna have a level code system in that one too?
I don't think there are levels. Not
Oh,
sure
okay.
yet.
Whoa. There's a lot of things moving on the screen all at once. Oh wow. Oh dang, this is actually a lot more intense than all the other levels that I was playing.
No, you need to pick it up. If you don't pick it up, the power up, you will die really quick. Can
Oh,
tell you that.
which power up?
The
Oh,
price, I mean.
this one? Oh, wait, I remember reading in the menu that don't you gotta like let yourself get hit by this spiky ball thing, and then like another enemy appears.
Yeah,
Oh no, it just hurts me.
yeah.
Oh,
You lose
oh,
life.
I just died.
But when you blink, you cannot die.
Oh, okay, so you
Well,
have
I
a
think 2-3 seconds.
okay, you got a little
Because
bit
it
of
would be then too
invulnerability.
difficult.
So
Okay.
what score do I have to get to beat this level?
Come on. I need to look that up. I don't know, but it's pretty high.
I don't know if I'll be able to beat this.
You told me you would.
Oh,
Keep your promise.
yeah, because I remember when Martin first sent me this game, he said he's like, just see if you can get to level 19. I was like, well, I'll get to level 20. Nope. Overly confident.
Uh,
Whoa.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a
it's
lot
pretty
of.
high. One moment. I just search.
Oops, there's so many things to keep track of. Ah, and I just died again. Alright, I'm going to try this one more time, and then Martin actually gave me one more level code for level 25, so just to see
Yeah.
how chaotic this game can really get, we're going to put in that code next. Oh,
So, I think I'm a bit out of the screen. No,
yeah, looking at the screen, but yeah, that's good now. Oh. Oh, one thing that we didn't talk about at all is that Turmoil Deluxe was actually a really, really old retro game. I mean, Turmoil Original was a
Yeah.
really old retro game. So so that basically just like an old game that you really liked that you basically were like, well, this game has been ignored for like 15 years. Let's redo it.
Yeah, I thought it would work good on a touch device, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's
But,
actually probably been more than 15 years.
yeah, I played it a bit and I liked it and I thought, okay, it has potential, you know, to make more out of it.
Oh, but
Because you have not these power-ups in the game or other stuff, or the ships get difficulter. It's really different, the classic.
yeah, because like I remember you showed a little bit of footage in the trailer of
Yeah.
Turmoil, and it's all just really, really basic pixels, and it really doesn't seem like there's a lot, not nearly as much going on in the original as this game.
I hope Atari don't sue me.
Yeah.
But I
Whoa.
think it's so long ago. That's
Yeah, I think
yeah,
there's some rule about like
10 years or so.
yeah, like isn't there like a 10-year rule? Like if something's more than 10 years old or
I
hasn't been
think it was
updated in
with
10 years.
really old Nintendo games like this on the Game Boy. it was like 10 years, then the license was run out, something like that.
Yeah, because like, isn't it like Nintendo 64 games? It's like totally legal to download the ROMs of those now.
I don't know.
I don't. Yeah, I would have to Google it. Yeah, this level is even harder. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get anywhere in this level.
Yeah, yeah. Now the black hole comes, and you're
Yeah.
dead.
So you have to dodge black holes while killing these enemies with a lot more health than usual.
Yeah, it's maybe too difficult a bit.
So how good are you at your own game? Can you beat this?
I can't beat the level 18. I think this
Oh
is
yeah.
easy.
Have you ever met anybody who
But
could?
can beat my game. I know some tricks, to cheat
Oh
a
yeah.
bit.
Yeah, because I mean, you spend so much time developing a game, you're just gonna learn, and especially because you know everything about it because, you're the one that coded like why everything happens on the screen that does happen. So.
Yeah, it's also a lot of work the other developer and artist, Adam. But I made most of the concepts. He made also a lot of work in the code.
Oh okay.
It was then easier because he knows more in HTML5 with Construct 2, and it was then easier to execute the game idea.
Hmm. Because you had like more tools available to you or more advanced tools.
He has more experience.
Oh okay. So does that mean that if you just like charge him like in the same rate as the art?
I can not tell everything
Oh yeah.
on stream.
Oh yeah. Sorry,
Uh,
I didn't want to ask like how much you were paying him. I just don't want to get into
Also,
personal finances.
with Turmoil it's not like that, but with some other games it will be that he has also, I mean, he has the rights for the art and other stuff, but he will also have half, like he will half have the rights and also half of the income
Oh okay.
and sales, etc.
Actually, that made me think of one more question. But I guess that's kind of like backtracking back to just talking about freelance artists in general. But if you're paying a freelance artist or freelance anything really, an hourly rate, how do you make sure they actually work that number of hours? Is that like a trust thing?
Mhm. It depends on the artist. Also, we agree on some hours mostly for a game, for some game parts or for some art, and then yeah, we move from them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I guess you can
Yeah,
also do a what's it called when you like write out
at
landmark?
least yeah, we have a list, with things that should be in the game, and also in this amount of time,
Oh, okay, that makes
and that
sense.
should be done because yeah, normally when you just say okay, I pay you already, it's difficult.
Yeah,
It would get expensive.
you gotta have like a management, like a time management plan that's just gonna work with the payment plan.
Yeah, he said how long it would take for some parts to execute, and then we agree on a price.
Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Because I asked him if he can do this or how long the art will take, and then we agree on a price.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess let's answer. See if there's any more. I don't see any questions right now. Or here's one question. Um, for music, is $100 a minute good? Well, for music, do you usually charge per minute of music?
No, no, I buy the music or I make it myself or he makes it. He has some tools, and I pay him for that.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Normally,
cause.
I invest around I think $100 for the whole music when I buy it. When I only buy it from some sites.
Oh, okay. So, I guess. Um. Yeah. I guess I don't know what you would pay. Like maybe Norwich is thinking of like hiring like a very good, renowned musician or something, or somebody who has like an established name. Whoops! Fire alarm just going off in my house. Can you get? I'm guessing that's blasting in the microphone. One second, I'm gonna mute myself so you guys don't need to listen to that, or at least make it quieter. Okay, it stopped. But yeah, I guess that would just be a payment plan based on the musician. Like if maybe some musicians do go with payment plans kind of like that.
But I don't think it makes sense for a small app to invest
Nah.
with a lot of money into music, because the device cannot play it maybe.
Yeah.
Or will take forever to load
Yeah.
the music file.
Yeah, so for for an app that makes a lot more sense to just do like pre-made songs or make your own songs, and because I'm guessing a lot of people probably just listen to their own music.
Yeah, I thought about that too, but I think it depends on the device and on the customer.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because some devices
You need
might
to
not
make
do-
some music, maybe some sound effects.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely music and sound effects.
If you don't, you lose a lot of atmosphere and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right.
All right.
But yeah, I guess that pretty much wraps up the live stream. We've been doing this for about an hour and 15 minutes now, so longer than I expected it to last, actually. But yes.
Okay.
I'm just reading over the last little bits of. Yeah, just to answer you guys' questions. No, this is the only live stream that I had today, or the only live stream that I had planned. I'm going to be doing another live stream tomorrow. It's going to be, I guess, just regular Q&A, DevTalk. I don't know. And next week I will have a new live stream schedule. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to be releasing a video on my Etiski Tutorials YouTube channel, letting you guys know what the new schedule is going to be. But yeah, I guess yeah, that's pretty much everything. So thanks, Martin, for being on the show and sharing your knowledge.
Thank you for having me.
Yep,
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, no problem. This has been awesome. And
thank you for watching, guys.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for your questions and all of that good stuff. So, Martin, I guess I guess the video will still be running after I end the live stream. So, but yeah, I guess I will see all of you guys later. And until my next live stream or next YouTube video or whatever, I'll see you guys later and keep making games.
Yeah, keep making games, guys.